Hey guys, welcome back to Movie Podcast. It doesn't have a name, or it's
That's
just
right.
me and Arian talking to each other.
That's right.
But this week, after we've introduced some of the movies we both like and what our types of movies are, I had Aaron watch the movie Parasite for the first time since it's something that he's never watched, and next week I'll watch something that I've never watched. But so that way we can kind of see each other's taste. I'll let Aaron give me his initial thoughts of the movie and what he thinks of it, and then we can talk more about it.
Yeah, we're gonna do that. All right, so once I purchased this film on Vudu to watch it in HD, I so it always tells you the Rotten Tomato score. 99 fucking percent Rotten Tomato score. That's insane.
It's one of the best for a reason.
I think look, this is gonna be my synopsis for our little argument here. I think it's a decent film. Do I
Oh
think
dear
it's
God.
99% on Rotten Tomatoes? Do I think it's Godfather level? Do I think it's Whiplash? Do I think it's The Dark Knight? Do I think it's any of those movies? I don't think so. But initial thoughts. Let's start at the beginning of the film, all right? From what I witnessed. It's quite a long opening shot of some socks hanging from, I think, a light for an unnecessarily long amount of time. And I'm like, do we need to see this while the credits go? And then it sucks for us American speakers because there's subtitles. It's hard to pay attention to the gosh darn, and this is on my own fault, but it's hard to pay attention when you're constantly reading with kind of quick dialogue, constantly having to read, and you're kind of missing some of the visuals. About halfway through the movie, that went away, where I was like reading it so fast that I could like kind of do both. But the beginning, when I'm getting into it, it's kind of like, oh shit, there's a lot of dialogue going. But there's that, and then I noticed about their shitty living situation, how that I mean I don't know what living situation's like in Korea. I don't know if it's accurate, but goddamn was that toilet in a weird place in their house, like it's a random corner, elevated above everything, and they're like trying to get Wi-Fi. Like I know they're poor, but if you really need Wi-Fi as bad as these kids do, you should pay for it instead of climbing in the corner on top of a toilet to get it. That's all I'm gonna say. Broke asses.
Yeah,
So that's the beginning. I feel like just they're obsessed with trying to get to the Wi-Fi. It seems like from what I remember at the beginning because they have no connection, and they're climbing up on that damn toilet to try to get to it.
all right. You want to talk about your beginning thoughts?
Yeah, defend it, defend this.
I think that their
You
desperation
can't.
and them you being wow, it's so silly that they can't or they're trying this hard for Wi-Fi, and it's their desperation more than them being goofy to get Wi-Fi and internet connection. It's how low, like there's no middle class or so that uh they're in the bottom of the poorest of the poor, scraping by, and they can't afford things like Wi-Fi or internet. And
I know, but just pay for the Wi-Fi, dude. I mean, if
that's
you're
a
gonna be as obsessed with Wi-Fi and need it as badly as they do watching whatever they were watching, I can't even remember. That's the money you save up to put up towards. Get that dang Wi-Fi.
yeah. And I mean, but there's a lot of more and more, I think, in the world there you uh lose like what the middle class is, and there's just two. There's the poor and the rich.
Yep.
I mean,
Yeah.
but I mean, these are the extremes of both, and I think that's what a lot of the movie is. But
I agree. It's a
it's
contrast
yeah,
of
it's
what
trying to show you
what
the
it
two
could be
different
like. Yeah.
lifestyles. I mean, it's trying to show you that they don't get to choose. Like they don't get the luxury of having a bathroom in a decent spot or having the Wi-Fi or all those things. It's
Yeah.
just all those things make their life even more uncomfortable than what it already is.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let's go to the next point. Next part of this movie, right? Is there truly jobs in the world where you just fold pizza boxes from your house and give it back to the pizza joint? Don't they just like, make an employee in the pizza shop do that?
Yeah, I'd say there is. It's probably like pennies on the dollar and is a job that pays so little.
I guess, but I'm just thinking like they bring so they have to the delivery person has to bring all the pizza boxes there just for this family of four to fold them all day, and then they had to drive all the way back over there to pick them up when they could have just like hired a couple people for cheap to do it in store. I found that really odd. I just like I know it's like I don't know Korea, but like I just seems like that's very odd.
Yeah, I'd agree with you. That is kind of weird, but I think in a lot of the world, there's very atypical jobs from the jobs that are here
Yeah,
and things
yeah.
that you'd never find
And
in
then
America.
yeah, yeah. And then it kind of jumps ahead. So I don't remember his name. Is it like Who Min? I'm sorry. I'm not gonna forget their names besides their fake names. That's all I can remember. The friend that comes over and brings over what they describe as a landscape rock to bring good wealth. And when I saw that, I immediately got flashbacks.
Yoon
Is that his name?
Ginse or
It's the friend that brings the landscape rock, and then he's going over to overseas for studying, and he's like, "Can you watch over so and so?"
no.
I don't remember what his name is because he's only mentioned a few times after he disappears from the beginning. But
Oh,
I,
Jung.
yeah, that might be it.
Okay.
But when I saw that scene and they give him that rock, it just gave me a flashback of watching Breaking Bad where Hank's all, paralyzed. He's like, Murray, they're not rocks, they're minerals. Murray, get the minerals. Murray, the minerals. That gave me a good laugh watching that scene.
Yeah.
So what are your thoughts on the superstitious aspect of this landscape rock is going to bring them wealth?
Oh yeah, I think there's a lot of like superstitions that people have. And that's just another things that even though it sounds silly and it's something that like you can look at from like the outside, a lot of people like if something's not right or it's not going their way and there's something to attach to it, like bring hope that it's something good in their life that it's yeah, really real.
Yeah. And then they go that when I think it's when they're fooling him and he goes to see her, what do they call those, like cafes where they like have all those computers and
An
she's
internet cafe.
smoking. Yeah, that young lady
Uh-huh.
smoking is bad for her. Her lungs well, her lungs are just completely screwed. And then also the like once they meet the family and they start tutoring everyone, it just to
Mm-hmm.
me and I guess the message of it is the society is that their schooling is completely failing all the children. They all just seem really dumb. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, all these teachers were super rich. My daughter can't do this. She needs lessons. And
Oh,
then
from the rich people?
yeah, and then the little boy's really dumb and he doesn't know what's going on. Just runs around shooting Indian stuff and being obsessed with Indians.
I think it's
And
more as
what's his
there's not like a
name's
need.
had to take the entrance exam 4 times to get in the military.
Yeah. I don't
It
think
just
it's dumb schools. I think it's that they don't try, and because of their status, they don't need to try, and they don't fail out because of who they are, and they're just breezing pie through life because of who their parents are.
yeah, that's probably true.
It's
But
not that
also
it's bad schools.
yeah, well, I just remember watching it and I was like, they were sitting there having like the meetings together with a sister is like, she's starting to scam the mom, or she's like kind of easily fools her, and it's like it seemed like when she was talking about both kids that they were kind of just not good at any
Hmm.
school as much as the sister was trying. I don't know, but I must say, Mrs. Park, baddie,
Mrs. Parker's.
Miss Park, yeah, Mrs. Park, the wife,
Uh-huh.
dumb wife, bad. I
Wait.
found her very attractive. She was a baddie. That's what I'm saying.
Uh-huh.
Do you agree?
I have thought Mrs. I thought I was trying to think.
Mr. Park is the rich guy and his wife, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, okay, yeah,
I thought she was very, very
yeah.
attractive when I saw her. That's what I kind of paid attention to at first. And then I'm realizing, once after the first meeting, they're just scamming her to get jobs.
Focusing on the wrong things, buddy.
Yeah, but they're scamming her. She's dumb. Like the guy said, she's young and simple, the friend. And then also, what kind of disturbed me, right, is the main character, don't remember his name, the kid, the guy that failed the entrance exam 4 times, right? He's been in the military from his conversation with his friend, and then he starts making out with this young high school girl, is what it seems like. And I'm like, I'm thinking about it. How old is this guy? He's served the military, and they said he took the entrance exam 4 times getting into the military. So if he's been in 4 times, you can't do it like until you're like what, probably 16. So I'm thinking, how old is this guy making out with this high schooler? You know what I mean?
Huh.
And like he didn't go to college. I was like, he's old enough to have gone to college. And he's talking about how he should have gone to college, but he didn't have money. And I was just like, well, okay, this seems a little borderline inappropriate. That he's probably like 22, 23, and she's 17, 18, 17 probably. 16. I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
That military boy shouldn't have been kissing up on that young lady,
No. But I mean, over there
grabbing her
it
hand.
is mandatory for men to be in the military.
True, but also isn't the whole reason is his best friend that's giving him this job in love with her and going to tell her his true intentions before he goes to college, and he's now just screwing over his friend?
Yeah, but I don't think he really cares about his friend.
Yeah. Yeah, his friend just gave him a nice rock, hoping to bring them wealth, got him a job, What does he owe this guy?
For real, he hasn't done much for them. He's just, yeah.
Yeah, he done it. He did his boy dirty, and that's when, like, to me, in my eyes, he became villain.
He became villain.
He became the villain of the movie. And then we find out that driver, the original driver bringing home the sister, dirty pervert. Can I please bring you home? Can I please bring you home? Can I please bring you all the way home? It's raining.
Park.
No, 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 not Park. The Park's the OG driver before Mr.
Oh,
Kim.
Driver Yoon.
Why are
Like
you calling them all Yoon?
his name's literally Driver Yoon.
Oh, well, yeah, he's a perv. And then she
It's-
frames him for being a perv, even though he did nothing. Any thoughts on
So,
the driving perv
so you're saying he's a perv, but he's a perv who
that
did
didn't
nothing.
was unsuccessful in being a perv?
Okay,
He
got it,
tried.
got it, got it.
He tried to be a perv. He was like, "Can I
Yeah,
please take you home? I want to know where you live." But then she's like, "No, he will drop me off at whatever station it was." Then she drops her panties because she's a villain.
perv.
I just every time I wrote down on my notes, I wrote every time there's a scene with the wife, Mrs. Park, I just go, God, this baddie is so dumb. They made her so dumb.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's another like trope is like she doesn't have to be smart because she's rich.
Yeah, yeah, she married a rich man. And
Yeah,
then and then I once okay, he gets a job as a tutor, convinces, oh, my cousin's friend is a psychologist, whatever it is, art therapy teacher. She gets a job. Then they frame the guy for being a pervert, and this dad gets a job, and they're apparently paying a lot of money. So I'm thinking they went from nothing. Now 3 of them have good paying jobs, and then they start going on this monologue about all the information about the maid, and I'm like, okay, they're just getting greedy as fuck. I know they're about to frame her too, and I know she has to be important with how much they're talking about her. Oh, she's been here for multiple owners, this, that, and the other. And I'm like, I'm starting to call it. And I'm like, she's got some dirty ass secrets that are about to come out because they're doing a long monologue about her entire life and everything.
uh-huh.
And did you not feel the same at that point? Like, there's three of you now. You had nothing. You have three high-paying jobs now. You've already scanned them for three jobs where you're getting paid a shit ton of money. Is that not
Yeah,
enough? Is that not enough for like the mom to stay home, do something, you know? You got three jobs. And now you're just getting greedy and you're about to make four enemies or three enemies, the driver, the housemaid, and
yeah.
well, technically only two enemies.
I mean, I, f- I feel like it's they're finally seeing success, so like why not bring the fruits for the whole family instead of just parts of it when they could live a great life with all of them. But then yeah, it
Yeah,
is
but
greed that they start to see whenever they start to get
yeah.
money.
I guess at the time when I was writing it down, I was like, damn, they're just getting greedy as fuck. And I guess towards the, like if you watch the whole movie, that's like a big part of the
Yeah.
message. And then it's also like I think about it, and the phone they have is a really, really nice phone. Aren't they supposed to be dirt poor? How do they have this nice phone? They have nice phones. The son and daughter both have amazing phones. I didn't even have that good of a phone until probably a month ago.
Uh
I don't know. I'm just trying to say like a few things.
yeah. I feel like a lot of the world has nice phones.
Yeah, everyone's got
But
$1,000 phones these days. I guess it's not even a big deal anymore.
yeah, and phones are getting cheaper and cheaper. Like you can get a decent phone for like a couple $100.
Yeah, but this one's nice. They got that the thing looks nice.
Hmm.
Okay, so they get the maid who's been pretty nice, intrusive in a couple moments. They get her fired.
Yeah,
They get the woman fired.
we all saw
And,
that coming.
and then my next thing is like, they leave immediately once she gets fired, they leave to go on this camping trip. And they all convene together and they're, playing out in the backyard, drinking, jumping in everyone's bed, this, that, and the other. And my first thought goes, they're the richest human beings on planet Earth.
How do they not have cameras?
How do they not have cameras inside to see any of this?
Hmm.
If you like, where's the cameras? And I'm thinking their plan is completely
Well,
screwed if they thought about it for a second and think this family has cameras. That's where I thought it was going. It's like they'll be caught on cameras. And I'm like, how do they not have any? They're I don't know.
well, I
Whatever.
think it's the
Defend
ignorance
it.
and like being so rich, they're like untouchable, or like, oh, none of us are home, so like nothing. Like, why would they care about their possessions? They could just buy new ones. They have people there to like protect their home, being the people they hired. Why would the people they hired do them wrong?
Yeah, why
So
would the
why
people
need
that are poor try
cameras?
to steal from them or something? Or when they act like assholes to these workers that they wouldn't do anything bad.
Yeah, but they're not thinking they're assholes. I mean, they're not thinking that the poor people will do anything. They're
I
rich. They're
guess.
untouchable.
I guess. But then we get little old lady coming back in the middle of their drunk session where dad almost chokes out mom or hits her, whatever it is, Mr. Kim. And then the little old lady winds up a beaten up ass face trying to get in.
Uh,
And first thought is, why the fuck would you let her in?
yeah, not the brightest thing to do.
Yeah, that's the thing too. So, and then they let her in. She's like, "Oh, I'll be at 1 second. Just need to go downstairs. Left something in the basement." And then she goes down there. She's wedged up against the wall, trying to push it open. She helps her. They go down there. They find the hidden man that's been hiding for 4 years from debt collectors. All that jazz. And then the big thing is how clumsy the family is. It's like she's just being an obnoxious asshole to them. The mom, I can't remember her name. Jessica and is it Kevin? Kevin's his fake name's mom because
Yeah.
they're from like Illinois or something. She's just being a dick to him, and then they slip down the stairs, expose themselves, and then the part I thought was so dumb and it didn't make any sense as a defense is when she takes a video of them fighting on the ground, like, oh, I'm gonna expose that y'all are a family and y'all scam them, but it's down in this basement. If they look at it, they go, "Oh, well, where the hell is this?" And she has to explain then, "Oh, it's in the basement where I've been hiding my husband for 4 years. I was thinking like it's a double-edged sword. So why would they care? They're both going down, or why would she release it if she's going to get screwed too, and then her husband will get kicked out?
Well, because she's desperate because she lost everything.
Yeah,
So
but she's going to
her,
screw herself over in the meantime.
I think taking down both of them is better than just her going down alone.
I guess that's true, but I guess like if she just had it, she could have just brokered a deal instead of going, "I'm sending it and screwing us all."
Yeah, definitely. I mean, there could have been something like they could have come to terms with, but she lost her job already and she has nothing left. Her husband has been living off of them for who knows how long, 4 years. Uh, and it's just she's desperate. She lost everything. So like, if she can ensure that those people who got her fired are miserable, then that's worth it.
That's true, but the thing is right before it, she tried to broker a deal like, "Oh, feed him what two, 3 times a week," and then she goes, "Oh, just or 5 times a week, 3 times a week." She's like, "Oh, just once a week, you'll be fine." And then they slip and fall because they're stupid and clumsy. They get held up at hostage, have a big fight to get the phone back. They come back because the camping trip, it's raining too much. They can't stay outside. Yada, yada, yada. They get in a fight, tie up weird guy that's been down there for 4 years, push what's her name down the stairs, slams her head. They get trapped again. And then what happens next? Oh, and then once they're tied up, what's his name starts freaking out because he's doing Morse code on those lights to, I guess, communicate to. I think it's Dasong, his son Daisong. I don't know how to pronounce it. I apologize. And he's saying thank you to Mr. Park, who doesn't have any idea he's thanking him. And then he's slamming it so hard with his head, and he's like convulsing. And okay, this is where I need you to try to explain this to me. Where he's like freaking out, tied up, and shaking his head, and then it starts pouring, and it's like kind of alludes to that he's got some kind of power where he then floods his enemy's house because it floods their house.
Uh-huh.
And then like when he's hitting his head on the thing, the light goes off and there's lightning. So it's kind of like, does this motherfucker have some magic powers now?
I don't think he does magic powers.
But it kind of alludes to that.
I think he's just they're just like it's I don't think he has magic powers. I think they're just showing that like because remember like at the beginning their house got flooded, right?
Their house got flooded at the beginning?
I'm pretty
I
sure.
don't think so. The only time it got flooded was when he's freaking out when they like first night when they finally sneak out. Once the dad starts rubbing the tits of his wife in front of the son and uh with the next to them under the table.
Oh, okay, yeah. It's been a couple years since I seen the movie.
Oh, you didn't
Nah,
rewatch it?
no, I didn't get the chance to. I watched like parts of it, but I didn't see all of it.
Bless you. And then also it kind of looks like he's gonna I thought they were going to him being some like he was like a legit ghost because they're like, oh, my son saw a ghost come out of the basement where the guy's head sticks up and he's got the scariest face and creepy eyes ever. And he
Yeah.
sees him and he thinks it's a ghost. And then at the same time, it intercuts between the flooding of his enemy's house and he's freaking out, slamming his head on the light as lightning's going off. And I'm like, are they giving this dude powers now? Man hasn't eaten in like 3 or 4 days, just has a banana and one little shake, and he's all of a sudden good and he's bleeding from the head. I don't know.
I don't think he has powers as much as his karma.
Yeah, that's true, I guess. But then we go ahead a bit. They escape. Everything's good and grand. They start planning the party. Surprise party for little Daisong with Indian themes again. And Mr. Man, they don't have a plan. They all get invited to it because they got all scammed. And what's her name is a crush on Kevin. Daisong needs Jessica there. They start making out again. Weird. He's like 23. Then Creepy Man gets out. because stupid idiot Kevin decides to bring the rock downstairs and be and for the second time is the clumsiest human ever, drops the rock down the stairs and just as an idiot doesn't check around him, just like picks up the rock and then starts walking to the hallway, not looking at both sides, and gets his ass beat. Choked with the garrote wire, then chokes on it again, falls down, gets his head slammed twice, gushing blood all over the floor. He's dead. Crazy man with blood all over his face, then finds a knife in the kitchen, goes outside, stabs Jessica. She's dead. Then he goes for Mama. Mama. I don't remember her name at all. Slices her up a bunch, and she's somehow strong as fucking holding them back. Which doesn't make, I guess it makes sense somewhat because the dude hasn't eaten probably in days, got taped up, has eaten one meal in the past week. So I don't even know how he's strong enough to do any of the stuff he's doing. Then Mr. Kim, being the hero he is, does nothing and kind of sits there watching as his wife's about to get stabbed. Park just wants to get out of there with his family. Then the wife becomes the hero, stabs Crazy Man in the side with sausages. He falls. Mr. Kim still does nothing to help his wife, just kind of sits there and watches. And Mr. Park's like, throw me the keys. Throw me the keys. I want out of here. And then all of a sudden, I guess out of greed, because he's kind of been an asshole a little bit, only like kind of only a little bit, decides to go and stab Mr. Park to death. You know what I mean? Christopher, you're muted.
Oh shit. I was sneezing, so I muted,
Oh no, you're good.
and then I started talking. Yeah, I think given the chance, he like tried to capitalize on the situation, and he wanted to. He got infected with greed, and that's what drove him to make the decisions he was. And a lot of the movie has like tones of greed and like hate and revenge because of the situation they're living versus the situation others are living. And like the rich are so carefree and they get to do what they want. Meanwhile, the poor have to be live so carefully and can't step out of line and do stuff. So given the chance to like express himself, he explodes.
Yeah, I just he kind of is a little bitch made in that moment because he doesn't help his daughter who just got stabbed. He just kind of stands there and watches and pushes on it. She's like, "Ow, that's hurting. Don't do that." And
Yeah.
he's just sitting there staring at Mr. Park while his wife is getting slashed.
Yeah.
And I'm like, so what is the arc here? And then okay, she becomes the hero, kills the crazy man. And then he's just like, okay, I get it. He's being a little selfish. He just wants the keys and out of there. He doesn't care about his family, but he doesn't know that's his family. He just thinks it's random people, and there's a man slicing and killing everyone. I mean, I think the appropriate response is, let's get out of here. So I'm kind of like, Mr. Kim kind of being weird here. And the dumbest thing of all is, what's her name got stabbed in the shoulder, dies. Kevin gets bashed twice hard in the head with a rock. And he just needs a minor little brain surgery and he's all back to normal.
Yeah.
I thought
Uh
that was weird
yeah, definitely a little weird.
because that dude looked dead. I mean, he got bashed head in the head hard. It was gushing blood after the first hit. And then he decides to throw it really hard at his head the second time. And I'm like, that motherfucker should be dead. But then we go to find out. I mean, it's kind of obvious. Mr. Kim goes into hiding into the basement. And then they have the weird thing where he, what's his name, after a long time, decides to go back. Kevin wants to go and spy on the house, sees the Morse code, somehow can do Morse code, the longest letter I've ever heard in Morse code. And the man was in the freezing cold with just some binoculars and somehow perfectly got that entire speech that they gave all in one sitting on a tiny little piece of paper he had. And then he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna be rich one day and I'll just buy the house and you'll be able to come out." And they show the scene and you're like, "Oh, how the fuck did he get rich?" You start saying that, and then it's just, a dream that he
Yeah.
has. So essentially that's the movie. He doesn't even
Yeah.
care that his sister dies. He kind of just laughs. We never hear from the family again, the love of Kevin's life that he's making out with over and over again, telling her about to tell her he loves her and stuff. Never hear from her again. So that's the end of the movie.
Yeah.
Final thoughts on the movie.
You or me?
You.
I thought it was a really great movie. It's definitely it shows like it's a very different movie. There's not a lot like it. It is showing like a very realistic and uh very current like issues of our time of like classism and stuff like that. And it's a lot of exaggeration, but there's a lot of truth to what like the message and the core message of the movie is.
Yeah. Do you think it's as deserving of its 99% on Rotten Tomatoes?
No, not 99% now, but
Okay. Because my thoughts are it's a pretty damn good movie. I won't lie. It is
mhm.
good. But seeing 99% and all the Oscars it won, I don't think it's one of the better films. I don't think I've only seen three. That's just the third movie I've seen of his.
Okay, that's where we're different.
Because
I think deserving of the Oscars and stuff, yes. 99%, no.
okay, well, it could have won a few Oscars, but it won so many. But I mean, I'd have to look back. I can't remember what other things came out in 2019 to judge it off of.
Yeah.
I can't even remember. But out of the three movies he's made, I think I put this third.
Wow.
I think Snowpiercer might be my favorite of his.
Okay, I don't think that's true.
You don't like Snowpiercer?
I like Snowpiercer. I don't think that's the best of his. I think this
Well,
is definitely the best.
how many of his
I
movies have you seen?
I've seen this is Snowpiercer.
I've seen this now, Snowpiercer, and I watched The Host many moons ago.
Oh wait, no, okay. I thought I at first I
But
thought
that's what
this
it's
was
called
the
in
mother.
English, The Host. And I thought that was a really good movie, but I saw it a long time ago. And I remember liking it a lot. So it was like one of the few, I think, first movies I ever saw that was kind of subtitled. And I don't think I had an English dub version or anything. But
Uh-huh.
honestly, okay, maybe it's a second. I haven't seen Host in a while. It'd be kind of hard to judge. I saw that when I was younger. Probably shouldn't have. But I still think Snowpiercer is better. I think that was a damn good film.
Uh-huh.
Well, I mean, every movie of his, they think is like the best movie ever, though.
I just think he makes pretty decent movies.
No, I think Parasite's a great movie. It's better than most. But is it in that top tier echelon for me? Is it better than Jaws? No. Is it better than Whiplash to me? No. Is it better than Godfather? No. Shawshank Redemption? No.
Yeah, I mean, you have the right to be wrong.
You think it's better than all those movies?
No, no, no.
Okay.
I just think it's one of the better movies.
Okay, but let me just say this really quickly. I have this up on my phone. Okay, Parasite, he got 99% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Uh-huh.
He had a movie come out in 2003 called Memories of Murder, 95% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Okay.
Snowpiercer, 94% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Uh-huh.
The Host, 93% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Uh-huh.
I don't know how you pronounce this, but I remember there was a big hoopla about it many moons ago called Okja.
Never heard of it.
It's got 86%, so he's got one under 90%. And
Yeah.
then he had this one movie called Mother with a 96% that I can see.
Yeah.
Oh, he has one called Tokyo. but he did. It was 3 directors, 76%. So he must have them on the payroll. How does every film have consistently like 95%, 93, 94?
Oh, I just think he makes decent movies, and if those are the fan ratings, normally, it'll all
That
be.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
critic. I think it's a mix of critic and
Okay.
fan. I'm not 100% sure how it works.
Well, yeah. You want to get those are your closing thoughts? Or you want to talk about the next movie?
Okay, yeah. So Parasite, out of 5 stars, what would you give it though? Let's do a quick rating.
Five. I'd give it 5 to 4.5.
Okay. I would give it a solid 4. If I went super critical to me, 3.5.
Damn.
But I think it's a 4-star movie. But next week's movie that I picked for Chris will be the cinematic masterpiece, Tombstone.
We will watch that and review that for next week.
All right, see y'all next week, little sexy beasts.
Adios.